This week, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do my 2025 book roundup. So it is the beginning of December, and I figured this would be a good time to talk about the books I read this year that made it onto my recommend list. So you still have some time to go order some Christmas gifts if you want. So I read a total of 25 books this year, and only 14 are making the cut for this video. And this ranges from everything from middle grade to nonfiction books. I like to read widely, so if you're not interested in a certain category, just skip to the next one. Now, I will say, for a lot of readers, 25 books in 1 year is not a lot. And that's because on top of doing these videos and writing, as well as homeschooling my kids and enjoying other forms of entertainment, I don't read 100+ books a year typically. So if you are looking for a huge list of things to read, I will leave you some good resources. So to make it onto my recommendation list, there's a few requirements. 1, there needs to be absolutely no explicit sex scenes. 2, there's going to be no anti-biblical messages. And 3, I just have to like it. I don't give my star rating on books because I don't like star ratings, and I feel like it varies extremely widely depending on who you are. So I'm going to give you the Amazon star rating. Now, some of the resources I'm going to recommend you are ones that I know are going to have okay content in it. So first, if you're big on reading romance and you're looking for things that don't have explicit content, check out Reading Rosie. She is on several different social media platforms. She has a list of 300+ books with no spice in them. So you can check out her list and see if you like what she has. I know she does a lot of indie books as well. So if you're looking to support indie authors, check her content out. Now, if you like science fiction fantasy and you want to guarantee that there's going to be decent quality, but also no anti-biblical messages, check out Enclave Publishing. They are a Christian publisher who publishes speculative fiction. So they have YA and adult in both science fiction and fantasy. They are considered a traditional publisher, so you don't have to worry so much about quality. You know, it's going to be there. And it's one that you can just happily hand off to a kid and be like, check out the list, tell me what you're interested in, and then you can buy it knowing it's not going to have any inappropriate content. And if you're looking for a platform that promotes Christian writers in both the indie and traditional publishing, check out Lorehaven, and I'll leave a link to all of these resources. They have a giant database. Now, they're not vetted necessarily for quality, but everyone on their site are Christian authors, and they have a huge range of ages from early readers to adult, and everything is sorted by age category and genre. So go check them out so you can find a humongous list of books. But on to what I read this year and I recommend. So I actually read a lot of middle grade at the beginning of this year. All right, so we'll start with my middle grade category. So the first book I got lost somewhere on my bookshelf, so I don't have it with me, but I'll put it up on the screen, is Bridge to Terabithia by Catherine Patterson. And I'm going to try to not give spoilers on these books, but kind of describe them a little bit. So, Bridge to Terabithia is loosely based on a true story from the author. It is over 40 years old and has won a Newbery Medal. It's a classic. If you haven't seen it, I recommend go read it. It's not going to take you a long time. All right, the next book is The School for Whatnots. So I got this book originally because I was really looking for middle grade books that had a male protagonist, and this one offers a duogonist of a girl and a boy. So ever since they met in kindergarten, Max and Josie have been inseparable until the summer after 5th grade when Josie disappears, leaving only a note saying, "No matter what anyone tells you, I'm real," and whispering something about whatnot rules. But why would Max ever think that Josie wasn't real? And what are whatnots? As Max sets out to uncover what happened to Josie and what she is or isn't, little does he know that she's fighting to find him again too. But they are forces trying to keep Max and Josie from ever seeing each other again, because Josie wasn't supposed to be real. I will say, if you're looking for a middle grade book with a strong male protagonist, I was a little disappointed that the main male character gets kind of shoved to the side in the story, and Josie becomes far more important than him, which I felt like the blurb was a little misleading. But I did really like this book. I think it's a fun read, and it's kind of more in that sci-fi, almost dystopian, but for middle grade. But I did like it. That's it for middle grade. But on to YA. This is the category where I ended up accidentally reading the most in. It wasn't really intentional. I was trying to read a variety of things, but all the adult books didn't meet all of my standards. So unfortunately, they're not on this list. Anyway, the first book, Mark of the Raven, published by Enclave Publishing. So you can check them out for more books. This one has a 4.5-star rating on Amazon. Lady Selene is heir to the House of Ravenwood and secret family gift of dreamwalking. As a dreamwalker, she can enter a person's dreams and manipulate their greatest fears or desires. Soon after the gifting, however, Selene discovers that the Ravenwood women have been secretly using their gift to gather information or to assassinate those responsible for the fall of House Ravenwood to the Dominia Empire hundreds of years ago. As she becomes more entrenched in Ravenwood's dark past, Selene longs to find out the true reason behind her family's gift, believing that its original intent could not have been for such evil purposes, but she is torn about upholding her family's legacy, a legacy that supports her people. Celine's dilemma comes to a head when she's tasked with assassinating the one man who can bring peace to the nations, but who is also prophesied to bring about the downfall of her own house. So this one has a prophecy. We have different powers, and it's also a Duragonist, so you get Celine's point of view, and you also get the guy's point of view. I do feel like the ending of this was a little rushed, and it is a series, so this is the first book in the series. It's good, and I'll probably get the next one later on, but it's not one that I'm rushing to go get, but it's good. I liked it. It made my list, which is really hard because picky. All right, next one. This one, normally I wouldn't recommend a book if I haven't finished the whole series, but I'm going to be trusting the author on this one. She's a Christian indie author, D.E. Carlson, To Bind Fire. Now, this book right here has a 4.4-star rating on Amazon. She sold a lot of copies. Now, when I say that this is YA, I am telling you that this is YA. So if you are an adult who enjoys YA, but you like the more mature YA, this might not be for you. This is definitely for teenagers, for the girls who love the dramatic stories. So if that's not for you, remember it's YA, it's for teenage girls, okay? But I am trusting what this author is going to do with these characters. I can kind of see how this is going to unfold. And so there's dragons, there's firepower, there's elemental powers in this. It's also kind of on the edgier side of a Christian fiction, but it's definitely a Christian fiction. And also the cover, just look at that thing. It's so beautiful. There's 2 more to the series and then a novella. I am definitely going to get the next 2 as soon as I have the funds for it. Next up is Nadine Brand's Wistress. This one has a 4.6-star rating on Amazon, and this falls into YA, but it's definitely could appeal to adults. I really loved this book. I wish there was more, but it is a standalone. So if you're not into series right now, try out The Wistress. Now, I found online that a lot of people found the ending kind of controversial, but I liked it. But if you are one of those that's hardcore, you want your endings to be nicely wrapped in a bow, this book might not be for you, but it's awesome. So it says on the back, at the drop of your next tear, you're cursed to die. Let your emotions never have a release. Let your heart feel eternal torture, robbed of relief. May you become as cold as the ice with which you snuffed out life. So there's a girl who has the power, she's called the Wistress. So her tears grant wishes. And when she grants a wish that goes completely wrong and it sets her life on this course, and it's a wonderful story that lets the protagonist make mistakes that they have to figure out how to fix. This is also a Duragonist, so there's the POV of the girl and the boy, so is a light romance in it. So if you like romance, but you don't necessarily want it to be too heavy, try this book out. I hope I'm selling these books to you guys. I'll get better at this. Now, this next book is my top book for the year, definitely my favorite, Katie Shade's Dream Teller. Another indie author, multiple award winning. This book is amazing and my whole family agrees, and so does Amazon because it has a 4.8-star rating. So our blurb on the back, And I'm sorry, Katie Shade, if I pronounce these names wrong. Probably should have asked. By the way, the author's a really cool person. So if you buy it, you're supporting a cool person who's like really nice. Another Christian author, by the way. Amid columned halls and foreign alliances, Lady Shannon, the name heiress to the Megaran throne, is given a glimpse of the past with the power to change the future. In search of answers, Shannon must navigate a court filled with spies, suspicion, and something to hide. But truth isn't cheap. To keep her conscience clean, everything she holds dear may be asked of her. Her kingdom, her loved ones, even her very life. So this is also, if I haven't said already, is a standalone book. I wish there was more, and I'm eagerly awaiting her next book. Great characters, wonderful pacing. You see, it's not too thick. I finished this in a day, but it was a dedicated day. What else I got? The beginning made me cry, which used to be really hard to do. It's still a decent challenge, but not as hard as it once was. It's a lot of emotions. Just go buy this book. Like, run, go get it. She's got it on audiobook as well, and a German copy if you want it in German. Oh, yes. It has some King Arthur vibes. It has like an assassin, but it's not like that morally gray that I'm really over. Like, just check it out. The characters are wonderful. The story is great. This one I will get 5 stars, 10/10, recommend. Oh, yeah. This also has multiple POVs, but it's done really, really well. And there is a light romance in the story, so that's nice. Now, for the adult category, I don't technically have anything that I read this year that went on that made it to my list. So I'll just tell you one from last year that I really liked is Brandon Sanderson's Tress and the Emerald Sea. The book was just really sweet and lighthearted, and the voice of the story was really good. It was really fun. It's a good palate cleanser if you've read a lot of serious stories and you just want something a little more lighthearted, but still with a fantasy adventure. It helped me get out of my reading slump after reading a lot of very disappointing books. So if you haven't read that, go check that one out. Even if you don't like Brandon Sanderson's writing, Trust of the Emerald Sea is the voice in it is so different than his other books. All right, now on to general nonfiction. So I have general nonfiction, then I have Christian, specifically nonfiction. So first, I read your author business plan. So if you are a writer and you haven't read any of Joanna Penn's books, I do recommend them. They're concise, so there's not a lot of fluff in here, and they're very useful. This one, you see, it's very thin, so it's not a long read, but there's a lot of good information in here for building your plan as an author because she makes a living off of her writing. Definitely follow her advice. Following up on that, another one I read by her is How to Market a Book. I haven't put any of this in action yet, but this all seems very consistent with everything else I find online, and it's all in one nice, organized place. It is a little thicker than the other one. Lots of good information. Highly recommend it. These are things I'll probably reread as I go along several times. Next book is Atomic Habits by James Clear. This is a good book. Has a lot of good steps and things that are pretty true. Have I built any new habits this year? Not really. I should probably go back and implement some of this stuff because good information in here. So talks about habit forming, and I think one of the most useful steps in here is laying out your home's like cues, like creating habit cues. Definitely recommend doing that. Another book I read, I forgot to bring the book with me, is YouTube Secrets by Sean Cannell. They're from Think Media, and a lot of really good advice in there. Obviously, this channel's only been up for just short of 6 months, and we already have 2K subscribers, which is crazy. So their advice is pretty sound. If you're looking to start a YouTube channel, check their book out and follow some of their advice. And obviously, they're a big YouTube channel, so they know what they're talking about. And thank you everyone who has supported this channel. We have grown faster than the average, which is amazing. It's absolutely been a blessing. Just cool. There's another Joanne Penn book that I read this year. I had the ebook. I do want to get the hard copy just because I like hard copies better. It is How to Make a Living with Your Writing. It has a lot of good information in there if you want to be able to quit your day job and just write. Obviously, I'm not there yet, but one day. All right, Now, onto Christian nonfiction. The first book on this list is Destined for the Throne by Paul E. Billheimer. I hope I said that right. It has 4.8 stars on Amazon, and it really talks about the power of prayer. So if you're looking to up your prayer life or figure out or learn about the importance of it, I would definitely check out that book. But the reason I got that one is because it's the precursor to the book Don't Waste Your Sorrows, which was such an impactful book for me when my husband passed. This book really helped me have a perspective change that I really needed. Didn't take any of the grief away, but there was definitely a perspective change. So, yeah, if you're just going through a lot of hardships in life, I highly recommend checking out Don't Waste Your Sorrows. Hopefully, it would help you just as much as it helped me all those years ago. So, it has been like 8 years since my husband passed, and I wanted to reread the book with a fresh, healed lens. Because I really was doing kind of a deep study in suffering and, yeah, just really a deep study on suffering. So, this was kind of one of the books I wanted to look at again. Now, another book that I read this year that I really enjoyed was How to Tell the Truth by Preston Perry. Now, whether you agree with everything Preston Perry says, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of his content. I've read the book. The book is I think it's definitely what a lot of us Christians need to hear and talk about when it comes to sharing the gospel or talking about God. He gives a little bit of his testimony in here, where he started, and some of the ways that when he was younger, sharing about Jesus, he was doing it in a very unproductive way. Yeah, check out this book. It's pretty good. And it's nice and thin, so it's not going to take you too long to read. Now wait, I have a bonus video game coming up. But those are all the books that I read this year that made it onto my list. Most of the other books didn't make it onto my list because of quality. A few of them because of content. So as you can see, I read very widely. I like all genres and all age groups. So if there is a book that you recommend that you think would meet all of my requirements, let me know in the comments. I would be happy to check them out this year and read some new books. I am definitely making an effort to read more indie books, but I will do the caveat. I am very particular about writing quality. Like I said, some of my favorite book this year is indie. So send me those indie books. Now, bonus, the video game that I played this year that I recommend. Now, there is mild language, so if that is a deal breaker for you, it's not for you. But check out Split Fiction. It is so much fun. I mean, the gameplay is awesome. You do need a buddy, so it's 2 people. They're very forgiving on the fights because of the 2 people, so don't worry, you're not going to get like stuck. Anyway, play the game. Awesome gameplay and great character development and a story. When it came to a 2-player game, I wasn't really expecting much out of the story itself, which, if you've been on the channel, I love stories. So I was definitely excited that there's strong character arcs and a strong story in the game Split Fiction. Also, absolutely gorgeous graphics. So you can play as fast as you want through it, but take some time to admire their graphics. I can't wait to see more stuff from the studio, and I hope they keep it as like clean as this game. So I can't wait to see what else this studio makes. Anyway, those are my stories and books that I've read this year. In the description, there'll be links to Reading Rosie, Lorehaven, and Enclave Publishing. If you're looking for far more than the few books that I have recommended here, go check them out. So happy reading, and we'll get back to our normal videos next week. And thanks for all your support. Remember, if you like the content here, like and subscribe, and give me your book recs or game recs. Give me all your storytelling recommendations if they meet my requirements.